What quiz they have?
All the latest events about the question papers, the marks.
Okay. That's it. Okay. So today, Shailaja, I'll start off with geography once again. I'll start because anyhow I completed. I'll start once again with geography only. Okay. I'll start with Indian geography. There is nothing to share. I'll just explain. Okay.
Yeah.
The lesson will be India size and location. Are you all there? Good evening, everyone. Students.
Shall I share I have the notes, no? Shall I share?
I have the, if you want, you can share, but still, also have
they can note down. Yeah, later they can.
Yeah. So when we say India size and location, that means we talk about something called as the location, the boundaries, the neighboring countries of India, and what is the time zone, and all those things are covered in this particular lesson, that is India size and location, which is a very important topic for us to know. That means in order to know where does India lie. Now you all know that how many hemispheres are there totally? How many hemispheres are there? Can anyone give me?
Northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere.
Eastern and western also are there. Don't
Yes.
leave them. We have north, south, east, and west. Okay. Now we have to know where is India located. In which hemisphere are we located? How many of you know? Very good. We are lying in the northern hemisphere. Okay. So the first thing when we talk about the introduction of geography of India, we say that India has a very ancient civilization. You all know about the ancient civilization. Which was a civilization?
Indus Valley.
Indus Valley civilization. So ours is the most ancient civilizations, along with China, along with Greece. These are all the countries we share our civilizations also. Apart from that, there is a lot of development that we have achieved in various fields, whether you talk about politics, or you talk about culture, or you talk about technology, industry, agriculture, anything you talk about. We have achieved a lot of progress right from the earlier times also. Of course, in between, we were having some problems because we were invaded by the Muslims, we were ruled by the Britishers. But after that, we were able to achieve a lot of progress. And as you all know, that India also has contributed a lot to the world history also. So first thing is that we talk about the location. Now, when we talk about geography, location, I think you all have your notebooks with you all. When I say that latitudes, you just note down, because that is the one that will be asked in your MCQs as such. So you all know that it is a vast country. Can you tell me the name, the place of our country in world countries? Which place do we occupy as far as area is concerned? We are the
7th.
Very good. We are the 7th largest country in the world. Very good, Charan. 7th largest country in the world. Very good. So it is lying entirely in the northern hemisphere. That means we are not sharing with any hemisphere. We are only lying in the northern hemisphere. And the extension between latitudes and longitudes. So what are the latitudes? Can anyone tell me? 8 degrees 4 minutes north and 37 degrees 6 minutes north. This is the location of latitudes. What is that? I repeat again. 8 degrees 4 minutes north and 37 degrees 6 minutes north is the latitudes. And longitudes is, can anyone complete longitudes?
17 degrees north, 17 degrees east to 27 degrees west. Sorry,
only 27 degrees. 68 degrees 7 minutes east and 97 degrees 25 minutes east. You have to mention everything. Okay, so I repeat once again. Latitudes is 8 degrees 4 minutes north and 37 degrees 6 minutes north, and longitudes is 68 degrees 7 minutes east and 97 degrees 25 minutes east. Okay. Which divides the country into 2 equal halves?
Tropic of Cancer, ma'am.
The Tropic of Cancer divides the country into two equal parts. It actually runs between the country, dividing it into two parts. Okay. Now, to the southeast and the southwest of the mainland, we have the Andaman and the Nicobar Islands, and also we have the Lakshadweep Islands. Where are the Andaman and Nicobar Islands located, and Lakshadweep in which?
Like Lakshadweep in Arabian Sea, ma'am, and Bay of Bengal, Andaman and Nicobar.
Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So these are very clearly you should understand. Okay, these are the two island groups we have also. Now, the southernmost point of the Indian Union, what is it called as?
Indra Point.
Indra Point. Very good. It is called as Indra Point. Is it there now? Is
No,
Indra
ma'am,
Point?
it's submerged, ma'am. Submerged in 2004 tsunami.
2004 because of the tsunami. Because of the tsunami that was completely submerged. We don't have that particular part only. Now, what is the total area of our country? What is the total area of the country? 3.28 million square kilometers is the total area of our country. 3.28 million square kilometers. And what is our percentage in the world, or the total geographical world is 2.4%. We occupy 2.4%. That means our total area is 3.28 million square kilometers, and we occupy 2.4% of the total geographical area of the world, and we are ranked as the 7th largest country in the world. Okay. Now, when we say all these countries as such, for example, it is the 7th largest. It has a total boundary of, can you tell me the boundary? Boundary means? Land boundaries. That means the boundary which is having the total area, or what we share with the neighboring countries, is 15,200 kilometers. That is the land boundary we have. And what is the coastal line? Coastal line means? The coastline means the river, the water area. When you talk about the water territory, including the Andaman and the Nicobar Islands, is 7,516.6 kilometers. All these figures are to be remembered very clearly. Land boundary is 15,200 kilometers. Coastline, including Andaman and Nicobar Islands, is 7,516.6 kilometers. All these have to be remembered very clearly. Okay, then what are the boundaries of our country? So to tell me north, south, east, and west. So in the northwest, north, and northeast, you have north, northeast, northwest. What do you have? India is bounded by.
North is Afghanistan and Pakistan.
No, I'm talking about our own landforms.
Okay, Jammu and Kashmir.
They are states. Landforms.
Himalayas.
Himalayas.
Very good. The young fold mountains of the Himalayas are covered in the north, northeast, and the northwest. Entire range will be carried. Okay. Then you have south of, okay, dividing it into. Then we have the division of the two seas. What are the big seas we have? The Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. So this is the most important boundaries that we have. So north, northeast, north, south, you have the Himalayan mountains. Then you have towards the south. When you go to the south, for example, it is divided into two parts, that is called as the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. Am I clear with that? And what is the latitudinal and the longitudinal extent of the mainland is about 30. That is, you call it as a 30 degrees, you call it as a 30 degrees longitude also, because the longitudinal and the latitudinal extent of the mainland is 30, you call it as 30 degrees, you call it as. The east-west appears to be smaller than the north-south extent. Actually, it is very equal only, but we find that the north-south extent is larger than the east-west as such. Now, the next one and the most important thing we talk about is a time zone. How do we decide the time zone for a country? Now, for example, if you take, where does the sun first rise in India?
Arunachal
Arunachal
Pradesh.
Pradesh.
Very good. That is which part of India you call it as?
Ma'am, east.
East. Very good. East, only east or northeast?
Ma'am, northeast.
It is northeast. So from Gujarat, you call it as from Arunachal Pradesh. For example, if you take Arunachal Pradesh, the sun rises first. So by the time the sun rises in Gujarat, it is 2 hours time gap is there. That means if you take Arunachal Pradesh, then the entire India with 28 states and 9 union territories, we find that there will be a lot of time gap because the first sunrise is in Arunachal Pradesh and Gujarat, if you travel, it is taking 2 hours. Like that, if you take all the 28 states and 9 union territories, there will be a lot of time differentiation. But still, we all find the Indian standard time or we follow the Indian standard time also. What is the reason that we have to follow a standard time? What is the reason? Why should we follow a standard time?
So that the time gap won't be there. So we can have more type of communication and coordination also.
Very good. And also, there won't be any difference. For example, if I'm traveling from Hyderabad and I have to go to some other place, suppose the time zone is different here or the time is different here and the time is different there, how are you going to communicate or how are you going to carry on your business? That is the reason why every country will be adopting something called as the standard time of the country, IST. Now, which is taken as a standard meridian of our country. So what they'll do is that they will take one common meridian. Meridian is a longitude which passes through a particular state or a country. So which is the standard meridian that is chosen by India?
82.5 degrees east.
Very good.
82.5 degrees.
82.5 degrees. It is called as 82 degrees 30 minutes east longitude, which is passing through Mirzapur in Uttar Pradesh, is taken as a standard time. So whatever time is recorded over there, the same time will be followed all over India, and that is called as the IST or the Indian Standard Time also. Now, apart from that, there is also some differences. We call it as the latitudinal extent influences the duration of the day and night as one moves from south to north. The south has a better thing compared to north because the variations in climatic conditions and others are very less in south compared to the north as such. One more important thing is that what about the world time? Which one do we follow?
Greenwich Meridian.
Very good. We call it as the Greenwich Mean Time. We call it as the GMT. Now, what is the difference between GMT and IST?
5.5 hours.
Which is ahead?
India is ahead.
India is ahead. So when we are coming to India, that means if you are traveling from some other country to India, you have to add. But when you are traveling to other countries, you have to subtract. You have to subtract. You have to subtract and then take the time as such, because Indian Standard Time is ahead of Greenwich Mean Time by 5.5 hours. Okay. Now, coming to the other important thing is that the Indian landmass is located between the East and the West Asia. We are in between East and West Asia as such. And it is also called as the southward extension of the Asian continent. All these points have to be remembered because in case if they ask in a MCQ, you should be able to know the location. So where is India located? It is between East and West Asia, and it is also called as extension of the southward extension of the Asian continent also. Okay. Now, the important thing about the India is a strategic point location because we will be able to connect the countries of Europe in the West and the countries of East Asia also. That means we are connected, our trade routes are connected so well that we can connect with Asia, we can connect with Europe also. This is a strategic position also. Then the Deccan Peninsula protrudes into the Indian Ocean, helping India to establish trade contracts with Southeast Asia. This is also one more important point we talk about. Okay. Then apart from that, the most important feature is that our country has the longest coastline. Do you all agree or do you all know this fact or not?
Yes.
Yes.
What about Russia, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am?
What about
Yeah.
Russia?
No, ours has the longest coastline. Our country has the longest coastline compared to any other country. It comes in the next place as far as Asia is concerned. And because we occupy Indian Ocean covers a large part of India, that is the reason why the name also has been given as Indian Ocean. That is also one more point we talk about. Okay. Then coming to the neighboring countries as such. Now, now, coming to the other thing we talk about is the neighboring countries. So, how many neighboring countries are there as such? Okay, how many neighboring countries are there, or what are the neighboring countries we have?
Ma'am, China, Bhutan, Nepal, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar.
Afghanistan.
Okay, very good.
Myanmar,
So,
ma'am.
how many countries total?
Ma'am, 6, ma'am.
Afghanistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Bangladesh.
Okay, very good. So, these are all the various neighboring countries we have with which we share our boundaries. Okay, very good. And then apart from that, it also shares, okay, fine. Sri Lanka is separated by India by
Park Street.
Park Strait and one more, Gulf of Mannar. They are separated by Park Strait and Gulf of Mannar. These are the two important places by which we are separated as such. Okay. And then what else have to tell you? So India shares its land boundaries with Pakistan and Afghanistan in the northwest. You have to know the directions also. So Pakistan and Afghanistan in northwest, China, then you have Nepal and Bhutan in the north, and Myanmar and Bangladesh in the east. And southern neighbors across the sea, we have two island countries, that is Sri Lanka and Maldives. These are the states. That means according to the directions also you should know north, south, and west. These are the countries, and even east also we are having Bangladesh also. These are the neighboring countries with which we will be sharing our boundary also. I think these are the important things that we have to know in this particular lesson. And also, what is the contribution of India to the world? What all we have contributed is that we have lots of land routes, we have trade routes, and we also have a lot of relations with other countries, and we also conducted a lot of trade also. And India also, the ideas of Upanishads or Ramayana or the Panchatantra, or you talk about any other books, the great books which we have composed or written in India, have been shared with various countries of the world also. This is as far as India's size and location is concerned. Okay. Then the next one we talk about is the physical features. Now this also you must have done with regard to what is it called as physical features. Can you tell me what are the physical features, or how do you divide the physical divisions are? One is the Himalayan mountains, and you have the northern plains, and you have the Indo-Gangetic plain, peninsular plateau, then you have the Indian desert, coastal plains, and the islands. These are the important landforms we have to talk about as far as the physical features are concerned. Now coming to Himalayas, they are running in which direction?
Ma'am, west.
West-east direction. They run in the west-east direction from the Indus, the Brahmaputra, and one of the most rugged mountain barriers of the world also. They are running from Indus to Brahmaputra. Brahmaputra is in the east and Indus is in the west as such. Okay. And they also form an arc which covers a distance of over 2,400 kilometers. So what is the total distance is 2,400 kilometers. And their width varies from 400 kilometers to 150 kilometers in Arunachal Pradesh. So when you start from Jammu and Kashmir, their width is 400 kilometers, but by the time they reach Arunachal Pradesh, they will be narrowed down to 150 kilometers as such. And the altitudinal variations are also very greater in the eastern half also. What do you mean by altitudinal variations?
Height.
The height of the mountains also varies a lot from when we are moving from east to west also. Now, what are the three divisions of the Himalayas?
Greater Himalayas.
Yeah,
Uh,
which is
Lesser
also
Himalayas.
called as the, they are also called as the,
Himadri, ma'am.
very good, they are called as the Himadri, and they are the most continuous range consisting of the loftiest peaks with a height of about 6,000 meters and contains all the prominent Himalayan peaks also. So what are the important prominent peaks or highest peaks of the Himalayas? Just you can know the names of all the peaks of the Himalayas. That is Mount Everest. Actually, it is in Nepal, which is at a height of 8,848. Then you have the Kanchanjunga, which is in India, which is the second highest one. Then Makalu. Then you have the Dhaulagiri. Then you have the Nanga Parbat. Then you have the Annapurna, Nanda Devi, then you have Kamet, then you have Namcha Barwa and Kurla Mandhata. So in this, I think Mount Everest is in Nepal, Makalu is in Nepal, Dhaulagiri is also in Nepal, then Annapurna is also in Nepal. The rest are all in India. So the highest is Mount Everest as such. Okay. Then the second one is called as, the first one is called as, it is called as the Himachal, or it is also called as the Lesser Himalayas. The first one is called as the Greater Himalayas or the Himadri. The second one is referred to as the Himalayas or the, Himachal or the Lesser Himalayas. Now, the altitude, what is the altitude of the Greater Himalayas or Himadri is 6,000. I said here it is ranging between 3,700 kilometers and also 4,500 meters. Which is the highest range in this is the Pir Panjal range, which is the longest and the most important range. What is that? The Pir Panjal range, longest and the most important one. The Dhauladhar and the Mahabharat range are also the prominent ones. So what are the three things you will remember here? Pir Panjal, then you have the Dhaulagiri, then you have the Dhauladhar, and you also have the Mahabharat ranges, which are all considered to be the prominent ones also. And what is the most important feature of this Himalayas?
Ma'am, they will protect from Serbian winds.
I'm asking about the feature. They also consist of, apart from the mountain ranges, they also consist of valleys, important valleys like the Kashmir Valley, the Kangra Valley, the Kulu Valley in the Himachal Pradesh. That means this entire region is known for its hill stations. The entire range of Himachal is known for its hill stations as such. That means Mussoorie, Nainital, Ranikhet, all these are also important hill stations which are located in. So one thing you remember here in Himachal is that the range, the altitudinal variations are very less, ranging from 3,000 to 4,000. Then it also consists of a number of hill stations also. Okay. And what is the third one called as?
Shivalik.
It is called as the Shivaliks. And the height here extends between 900 to 1100 meters. So 6,000 I said. Then after that we have the 3,700 to 4,500 meters. Then I mentioned about the Shivaliks, which is at a range between 900 to 1100 meters. And they also consist of thick gravel. And what is the most important feature of the Shivaliks is they are having a feature called as the dhuns. Okay, when you give the definition of the dhuns, what is the definition you give is that the longitudinal valley which is lying between the Lesser Himalayas and the Shivaliks are known as the dhuns. That is the definition you will give for a dhun. What is it? The longitudinal valley lying between the Lesser Himalayas and the Shivaliks is known as the dhuns. Can you tell me the names of the dhuns we have? Yes. Dehradun, Patli Dun, and Kotli Dun. These are the important well-known dhuns which we have in this particular range of the Shivaliks also. Now, apart from this three Himalayas, we also have a lot of longitudinal divisions in the Himalayas, and they have been divided on the basis of the regions from west to east also. Now, the part of the Himalayas, that means these Himalayas names you have to remember very clearly. Okay, the Himalayas lying between Indus and Sutlej. Okay, they are called as the Punjab Himalayas. But it is also known as the Kashmir and the Himachal Himalaya also. Okay, so the Himalayas which are lying between Indus and Sutlej are called as the Punjab Himalayas, and also regionally known as the Kashmir Himalayas and the Himachal Himalaya from west to east respectively. So according to the regional divisions also you have different Himalayas and different names also. Then the Himalayas which are lying between the Sutlej and the Kali rivers are known as the Kumaon Himalayas. Okay, again I'll come back and ask you, please remember the names. Okay, first one I'm saying Indus and Sutlej, they are called as the Punjab Himalayas, also called as the Kashmir and the Himachal Himalayas also. Then the Himalayas which are lying between the Sutlej and the Kali rivers are known as the Kumaon Himalayas. The Kali and the Tista rivers demarcate the Nepal Himalayas and the part lying between the Tista and the Dihang rivers, and they are known as the Assam Himalayas. I'll repeat once again. The Tista and the Kali rivers demarcate the Nepal Himalayas, and the part which is lying between the Tista and the Dihang rivers is known as the Assam Himalayas. Okay, and there are also regional names which are also named here. So apart from your Himadri, Himachal and the Shivaliks, you also have the other regional like the Punjab Himalayas, the Kumaon Himalayas and the Assam Himalayas. Yeah. So which are Punjab Himalayas? Where do they lie?
Indus and Sutlej.
Very good. Next one is Kumaon.
Sutlej and Kali.
Kali. And Assam?
Tista and Dihang.
Tista and Dihang rivers. Please be very clear with them. Understood? Then the Brahmaputra marks the easternmost boundary of the Himalayas. Between the Dihang Gorge, the Himalayas bend, and they are known as the Purvanchal or the eastern hills. So the Brahmaputra, when you move toward the east, when you are moving, that means beyond the Dihang, after flowing through the Dihang and going that way, the Himalayas bend sharply to the south and spread along the eastern boundary of India, which is the eastern boundary is near the northeastern part of India when you talk about. And here these Himalayas are called as the Purvanchal Himalayas or the eastern hills also. And they usually comprise of dense forests also. So the Purvachal, actually it is not Purvanchal, it is called as Purvachal. Purvachal. Now this Purvachal will be consisting of the Patkai Hills, the Naga Hills, the Manipur Hills and the Mizo Hills. These hills you have to remember. So the Purvachal Himalayas will consist of number of hills. Can you repeat the hills? Patkai, Naga, Manipur and the Mizo Hills. These are all the important hills that you are finding. Clear with the Himalayas, with all the locations and other things? Yeah? Yeah.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
is the second one I said? What is the second physical division? The northern plain, or it is also called as the Indo-Gangetic plain also. Now, the northern plain or the Indo-Gangetic plain is the formation of the interplay of three major rivers of what are the three major rivers?
Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra.
The Indus, Ganga and the Brahmaputra and their tributaries also. And this particular plain is formed of totally alluvial soil because of the deposition which is brought about by these three rivers. That is the alluvium which is deposited by these particular three rivers in the vast basin lying at the foothills of the Himalayas over millions of years ago. That is the reason why this Indo-Gangetic plain has formed, because of the alluvium which is deposited by the three rivers for millions of years as such. Okay. What is the total area of the northern plain? That is, the total area is 7 lakh square kilometers. Okay. And then it is being about 2,400 kilometers broad and 240 to 320 kilometers broad. These are the things you have to learn. 7 lakh square kilometers, that is the total area occupied, and it is 2,400 kilometers long and 240 to 320 kilometers broad. This is the statistical data you have to remember as such, and is a densely populated physiographic division. That means why it is a very rich physiographic division is that one is that it has a rich soil, that is alluvial soil, which is very suitable for the cultivation of various crops, adequate water supply because of the 3 rivers. That means when we talk about the Indus, Ganga and the Brahmaputra river, they are also called as Himalayan rivers, and Himalayan rivers are, what is the feature we take when we talk about the peninsular rivers and the
Perennial
Himalayan
rivers,
perennial rivers? What are perennial rivers?
which run throughout the year.
Which have water throughout the year. That means they don't dry up at all. They carry water throughout the year. That is the reason why this particular region is also highly and densely populated also, and favorable climate. It is agriculturally a very productive part of India also. That is, you talk about the Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, all these are very good for the crop production also. Number of crops are grown here also. Okay. And then, which is the most riverine island? What is a riverine island? Is that this is also one more definition you should learn. The rivers coming from the northern mountains, they are always involved in the depositional work. What do you mean by depositional work? There are 2 things when we talk about the geographical features. One is called as erosion, the other one is called as a deposition. Erosion means which takes away the entire thing, like whether it can be soil or whether it can be water or whatever it is. But when you talk about the deposition river, is that where they bring the things, that means they bring the soil and deposit in these areas. So the rivers which are all coming from the northern mountains, that is from the Himalayas, they are always involved in the depositional work. In the lower course, due to gentle slope, the velocity of the water decreases, which results in the formation of the riverine island. The riverine island means a small amount of water will be there, which will be surrounded by land on all the sides, which is called as a riverine island. Why does a riverine island occur? Is that because the velocity of the water decreases because of the slope. There is a gentle slope. Whenever there is a slope, the water decreases in the lower course of the river, because the river course will be having 3. You call it as the upper course, middle flows, and the lower course. Always you remember that when we talk about the rivers will have 3 courses: the upper, middle, and the lower course. The upper and the middle flows, the course if you take, for example, the velocity of the water is very high. That means the water will gush with a greater force. But when it comes to the lower course, the velocity decreases. So when the velocity decreases, the amount of water coming also decreases, resulting in the formation of a small riverine island. Riverine island is where you find a small amount of water surrounded by land on all the sides. This is called as a riverine island. Now, Majuli in the Brahmaputra river is the largest riverine inhabited island in the world. You have to remember, this is the geographical factor. I'll repeat again, Majuli, M-A-J-U-L-I. Majuli in the Brahmaputra river is the largest inhabited riverine island in the world as such. So remember this riverine island also. Now, the river in the lower course, what happened is that as the river, as I said just now, there are 3 courses. So the rivers in the lower course split into numerous channels with the deposition, and these channels are called as, any guesses? When the river will split and form into smaller channels, what are they called as? Very good. They are called as the distributaries, or you call them as the tributaries also. Okay. So the northern plain also is divided into 3 sections. What are the 3 sections that we have is that the western part of the northern plain is called as the Punjab plains, formed by the Indus and the tributaries. What are there are how many tributaries for the Indus River? There are 5 tributaries, which you call it as a Punjab Plains, formed by the Indus and its tributaries. And the larger part of the Punjab Plains lies in the larger part of the Punjab Plains lies in which country? Pakistan. The larger part of the Punjab Plain lies in Pakistan. The Indus and its tributaries. Any guesses? Anyone knows the tributaries of Indus?
Ma'am, Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Sattlej.
Very good. Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas, and Satluj. They all originate in the Himalayas, and this section, that means the Punjab Himalayas, is dominated by a feature called as Doabs, D-O-A-B-S. Doabs it is called as. What is Doab is? Doab is made up of 2 words. Do means meaning to, do. Actually, do. You call it as do means to, and ab meaning water. That means Punjab is also made up of 2 words called as Panj meaning 5 and Ab meaning water. So Punjab is made up of 5 rivers. That is the reason why that name has come also. So far I have done with India's size and location, Himalayas, and one part of northern plains. So next week I will continue with the Ganga plain and other plains also. So far clear, I think this has been done. It is like a revision only for you all. Shailaja, I gave you that PPT is there with you, Shailaja. Shailaja?
Yeah,
Physical features.
PPT, yeah.
Yes.
Let me just check once. Let me check. Let me check. Notes, I'll be having. PPT, I don't remember.
I think I have sent, and now I'm not able to locate it where it is. If it is there, again I'll put it in the group. You just check,
Right,
otherwise I'll put it again. Okay?
Yeah.
If they go through that particular PPT and the notes also, it will be easy for them.
Sure. Yeah.
Any other doubts not clear? Today I think this Charan and all also, these are all there in 3rd class also. That's why they are able to answer.
Yes. Yeah. Are you well, Shamla? You are looking weak.
I don't know. I'm feeling very tired from 3 days. I went as an external to Obul Reddy, Shalja.
Okay.
For conducting Viva. 164 students I conducted Viva.
External, okay.
External. So I don't know. From that day, I'm feeling very tired.
Yes. Yeah. Take rest, ma. Take rest.
Yeah.
That is the case. You tell me. I can. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
In the class.
I'm going to the school every day.
Okay.
Okay then.
Okay, ma. Thank you. Ma, thank you.
Yeah.
Please join again, children. Please join again.